Alright, what is up, guys? Alright, so I had two things I want to talk about today or bring to you, and this is simply my opinion and just for informational purposes. And so the first thing I had is my top pick or my top 5 favorite vehicles, items to have for this new DLC, free mode, and roleplay. So this is just my opinion. Also, the second thing I want to talk about is two items and features that pretty much every YouTube and review video I've seen out there, they either downplay or they totally miss a perspective on it that I believe is crucial. And so I would hopefully talk about that today. So along with that, I'll be bringing a few vehicle reviews, maybe a few hidden features, and hopefully able to give you some information that'll help you out, especially if you're new. So the first thing being, obviously, you have to have a bunker. And I almost didn't include this because most people already know this. However, I thought I might quick give an overview of my opinion of what are the best bunkers in this game. So from what I believe, there are 9. The most expensive one being the Land Act Reservoir, I believe. In my opinion, that one is totally garbage. It is out of the way, far from anything. It is hard to get to. And that being said, pretty much all these bunkers, the new bunkers, are at least somewhat inaccessible, like as far as driving, and are going to be a pain. I personally do not like driving to any of these over and over again, which you're going to have to do. So I'll cover that later, kind of a way to get around that. But if you're looking into buying a bunker, honestly, I would suggest one of these 4 in this area. And this one right here, the Grand Sonora Desert Facility, is my favorite, simply because it is at the end of the runway here. It's accessible to the airport, which I am definitely into flying. I love flying. And I can go back and forth between Fort Zancudo, which is where all my other facilities are located. So it is a very, a nice way to transport back and forth. But any of these facilities are good, and as you already know, all Price does is have your location. All these have the same upgrades, the same interior, and the same features. So going into the features, I'd like to talk about at least one that is kind of controversial. Obviously, facility style graphics are not a big issue, but the orbital cannon is something that I've seen many people review and say that is totally not worth 900k, and that obviously, since the guided and unguided strikes are 750k and 500k, that it is totally not worth the money all around and just not a good purchase. And in my opinion, if all you want to do is kill other players, then that is correct. However, if you look at it from the standpoint that you have a free full lobby surveillance in your bunker, where you can keep track of enemy activity, possibly even money drops, whatever. You can keep an eye over your team if they're stealing or doing a setup, making sure they're not being snuck up on. Make sure you can do call outs for any kind of role play. It is, in my opinion, a definite must. It is definitely worth 900k in my opinion. I'll leave it at that. So that's the first big controversial issue that I would definitely disagree with over most videos that I've seen. The second is, the second feature is a security room, which most people agree is, is worth it, with the gun lockers and the strike team, which I'll show you in a little bit. The lounge, however, I do not believe is worth it. I personally have it simply because it adds to my bunker, and I feel like it's a little bit big and a little bit barren sometimes. So it kind of helps in that respect, but definitely not worth it if you're low on money. The sleeping quarters, however, is definitely worth it. Being able to spawn in your facility is a huge plus, especially if you're going to spend a lot of time there and doing the heists, which I'm assuming for most of you probably is definitely a yes. Alright, so that basically covers the bunkers. Just a quick take on that from my standpoint. So let's go ahead and take a look at the orbital cannon, the orbital satellite surveillance system. And I will agree, it is very satisfying, or very fun anyway, to do a few strikes. Um, just to have that ability, that power, you per se, you might, it's, in my opinion, kind of worth it just for the fun of that. But even on top of that, the surveillance alone. And this is a invite only session, so you will not see other players in it. However, I thought I'd at least quick demonstrate the surveillance mode, which most people tend to skip over and just go straight to these and complain how they're so expensive. However, you can enter this mode and you can zoom down and watch what other people pretty much, and you can go anywhere in the lobby with this. From what I've seen, I've gone all the way to the other side of the map, and you can keep tabs on almost anything that's going on. It highlights other players with a little green box and tracks them around the map. And for me, especially being into, trying to start creating cool roleplay videos and public lobby strikes, this is definitely a must. So yeah, so that's just my opinion on that. However, all right, so the next feature, the next thing I'd like to talk about, which in my opinion should just basically be a given whenever you get this bunker. However, a lot of people seem to think that the Avenger is unnecessary, it's expensive, and I've seen, multiple videos obviously where they talk about how the old MOC has all the features you could, possibly need with the Mark II weapons and the vehicle upgrades. And while I do agree with them, if that's all you're in it for and that's all you want, then that's totally correct. However, the reason I believe the Avenger is single-handedly basically the most important vehicle in the game right now is there's a couple reasons for it actually. The first being that it is a beast-ass weapon. It is stable. It is very, being an MLC, obviously, it is very protected. It will take 7 to 8 homing rockets to take this thing down. What I did miss in my last video is this thing is bullet resistant. Not bulletproof, but bullet resistant, so you can take a few shots, protect you, and not shatter, which is really good. The weapon loadout is very good, and it's just an all-around good plane. And it's, unless I'm missing something, it is one, if not the only plane that you can fit in here. Which, like I said before, these bunkers are really annoying for me to go back and forth constantly on the ground. So having that plane there, having the ability to quickly fly somewhere with the protection, do what I need to do, fly back, and transport vehicles, which I'll show here in a little bit, is definitely worth buying this vehicle, or this aircraft. So what I'm going to demonstrate real quick is how you might go ahead and use it in one of the either prep missions or one of the other free mode missions or heists or whatever you want to do in free mode, especially with any kind of griefers or huge lobbies. So while I'm over here, I'll go over these real quick. I believe all of these vehicles are very good. The new vehicle, the new Barrage here, is a very good vehicle. It can take 6 homing rockets last time I tested it. And it's a very good vehicle, very good on all-terrain. But still my favorite, and the only vehicle I believe that you need to complete your ground assault or your package for doing anything on free mode for heist, is the APC. And simply for a few reasons. You can hold multiple crew, you have good guns, good protection, very fast, very versatile. It's amphibious, which is not something you can say about a lot of the other ground vehicles. And it is a very good all-around vehicle in my opinion. I know it is not a new DLC vehicle, but in my opinion it's still the best one that you can get, especially if you're starting out, and this is why it is in my top 3 list. With the Avenger, the bunker, and then this. I believe with just these three vehicles alone, you can pretty much do everything you need to do, and do it fairly well. So being in the Avenger, obviously, has a cool interior. You got your Mark II weapons with the traditional ones that you had before, alongside a marksman rifle, pump action, shotgun, bullpup rifles, and the special carbine, heavy revolver, and S&S pistol. And so I'm not going to go in details on all this because most of you already know. Obviously, you got your seats, your surveillance mode, which sadly only covers the cockpit, your turret modes, which are awesome because unlike some of the others, like the old MOC, you do not have to get up and go to a different chair to get into a different turret. You can, from any of these terminals, you can simply cycle over to a different gun and continue firing. So one person can provide 360 security coverage, which is awesome. So alongside that, you have your wardrobe, you have your armory, which is cool features as well. And I'm gonna just go ahead and fly this somewhere and kind of show you why, in my opinion, the Avenger is single-handedly the best aircraft pretty much the best vehicle period to own in this game right now. So this thing is, right off the bat, you'll notice it's extremely stable, very easy to fly, and a lot of things that kind of annoyed me about other aircraft, other planes, is not very prevalent, if at all, in this vehicle. Like, for one, if you let this thing with no attitude input from the elevator from the elevators, this thing will fly very straight, very stable, and it is a very good flying one. Now, however, I do kind of wish the instruments such as the heading indicator, attitude indicator, ASI, I wish all that was, a little bit more prevalent right in the middle, where you can see a little bit easier just for any kind of formation flying or anything like that. However, the interior is fairly great. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly over to this little coastal town over here, and I'm going to demonstrate a common way you'll probably that you could definitely use this vehicle, and where it'd be very, very handy. So just for example, let's say there's some kind of vehicle or some kind of something you need to steal, or people you need to kill over in a small town like this, especially NPCs. You can bring your whole team. You can either have them in the back on the guns, you can have them inside the vehicle ready to deploy, but you can fly up on any location like this. And I'll show you in a little bit. It has basically a autopilot feature, although technically it's just a very basic one, altitude and position and attitude holder, but it is still very cool. And especially if you're by yourself, this is a very important feature to have. Alright, so let's go ahead. Let's see here. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and go over the water for this, just to demonstrate the APC, how good it is for deploying in the water. Alright, let's go ahead and come over here a little bit. Very interactive menu. Go to Vendor Services, Gauge Autopilot. Alright, now we're free to go ahead and go back in the hold. And we can either go ahead, we could, jump out this door, parachute in, or if we brought a vehicle, We can go ahead and jump in this bad boy. Deploy it. Alright. And you can actually spin around in there, which I forgot to do, but yeah. Get it lined up. So you can go ahead and come in here, do whatever you need to do, kill the bad guys, steal the package or whatever. And very easily end with the team. So you could have your team obviously up in the plane still covering you. They could be in a vehicle with you, or they, you have somebody flying ready to pick you up. Cool feature is, after you do whatever you need to do, well, first of all, you can, if you're by yourself, you can go and return to storage. Head over, give it a second to, okay, there we go. Now so now I can go do whatever I need to do, and then whenever I need to be able to get picked up again, I can go to Avenger, Quest. Alright, let's see where this bad boy went. So it should pop up here, there we go, alright. So obviously it's not going to always be right next to you, but still not having to have somebody to fly back out to you and all that is definitely an awesome feature. And that's one reason I love the Avenger, and for a lot of reasons, is simply because on top of being a badass aircraft, it is an MOC. You do have those extra features, and from what I've found, a lot of times, I've had it happen to me multiple times, if it's destroyed by, let's say, NPCs or accidentally, falling in the ocean or whatever, or even other players, although I know usually they pay for it. A lot of times it'll spawn in my, it'll respawn back for free, like back in my bunker, and I never have to pay a dime, which is awesome, because most vehicles, obviously, you're going to pay 20 grand, 10 grand right away up front to be able to get it back in your bunker. And this thing, I've had it a couple times do that for me. Alright, so you can just load back up again, hop out. You got your package, whatever you were going to get. Jump back into the cockpit. Alright. Alright guys, here's a quick bullet resistance and just the general protection of the plane review that I promised, and let's go ahead and test it out. Alright, first off, let's go ahead and try the front windshield. Alright, if you notice, it has not penetrated. Go in here and quick check it out just to make sure. But yep, you are still safe. Alright, let's go ahead and try something a bit more powerful, a little bit more of a punch. Let's go ahead and go sniper. I don't have any special bullets in this, it's just standard ammo, but with all the upgrades. Let's go ahead and do the left one. Damn. Look at that, still not shattered, still not penetrated. Alright. Now it is worthy to note that these side windows, obviously, of course, they have to have a weird angle to be able to shoot you from them, but these side windows are not bulletproof, and they can penetrate them fairly easily, or basically straight up. However, these other ones, the front ones and the side ones, take multiple shots. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, let's see here. Still, let's double check. Come on, turn already. Yep, still not penetrated. Alright. Let's see how many it does take. 10, so 11. Okay, so 11 gets close. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so 16 is where it hits. 16 with the pistol. Alright, let's go ahead and do it with the sniper. So we have 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits. Okay, so the sniper after 4. Let's double check that just to make sure it did not penetrate. Alright. So yeah, still no penetration. Oh, my bad. Wrong weapon. But yeah. Alright. So that's with the sniper. Let's try with the assault rifle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's 2 shots. So 10, 12, 13, 15, 18. So around 20, 19. Oh. Around 20, 21, something right there. Let's try this. Maybe the top one. So at a full clip. Alright, so basically a full clip, yeah. Definitely penetrated, but still, with this protection, you definitely have enough time to be able to hopefully get out. Because most of the time if people are sniping you, if they can't get you within like the first 2 shots, you can get away. And if you can't, that's probably something else going wrong. Alright, so that's bullet protection. And just to even make it more interesting, we're not going to get a new one. We'll leave it at that, so it's already damaged. And let's go ahead and try this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I'm not sure exactly how it all works, like when somebody's in it versus online lobby. I'm not sure if the damage rates change a little bit. I do know every time I've tested it, whether it be in lobby, actually taking fire from other players, it's always been able to take at least 8 rockets, at least. But if you see, I can still fly it just perfectly. I can fly it with only 1 rotor. Works just fine. It does want to slowly go down, so it doesn't have quite as much power, but it still will easily fly around, even maneuver. Just operate is fine. And you see the left engine smoke a little bit. Which I have noticed it tends to, whenever it does start doing that, usually the left engine is the one that starts smoking first, unless it, obviously the direct hit on the other side. So let's go ahead, and so we were at 8. Let's go ahead and purchase a few more just to make sure. 9, 10, and as you see, it's still flaming, or actually starting to flame now. Sorry. Let's go 11. 12. So I heard something, but it looks like it's still operational. And yep. Now I'm not sure if it depends on if they're hitting you from a vehicle's rockets or regular homing rockets or not. Like I said before, I know that I've been in free mode and taken multiple barrages of rockets, and it's always been over 8 for sure, if not 9 or 10, before they can down me. And usually then even they don't kill me, they just, you know, by then I just go ahead and jump out when I start seeing the smoke and they don't kill me. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and see how many it takes. So we're at 12, I believe. $13. 14. 15. Alright. So 15, no matter what, seems to be, that's, I've tested a couple of times now, and it seems like 15 is where, yeah, it wants to disappear. What if... Alright guys, just to kind of finish off this video, and to recap and mention a few things. So all the vehicle tests, all the reviews were done on fully optimized, fully upgraded, fully armored aircraft and vehicles. Just bear that in mind. The aircraft in here are my personal favorite and personal pick out of the gun running and the new DLC, which obviously doesn't mean much, just my opinion. And a couple vehicles to stay clear of. Once again, this is just my opinion. Is the rocket, the thruster. I know it's cool. Everybody's going on and on about it. However, when it really comes down to it, you're pretty much just as well in a helicopter. You got more protection, more features, and you're just, you know, just easy to snipe. It's still cool, you know, if you have an extra money laying around and you really want it, that's fine. This, however, I don't see any use for this at all, unless you are really into roleplay with police vehicles. But it's not even like a really good police vehicle to roleplay in, so honestly, yeah, I would not buy that. Definitely not buy the Volatile. This thing is basically the Bambushka with a stealth-like appearance. It is terrible. It is, excuse me, it is slow. It is easy to shoot out of the sky. It takes damage easily. Nothing special in bombing that I could tell. And definitely not worth the 3.7 or 2.8 mil. The Chernobog is, the rocket truck is good. It's good if you have a crew to play with. It can be decent. However, I don't think I'm ever going to be using it, and I'm kind of, you know, regretting purchasing it already. It is a nice thing to have, but, you know, every once in a while just for the heck of it. But definitely not something you're going to be using very often, as you do have to have a secondary person, and you have to have the supports planted. So it's basically, yeah, it takes a little bit to get set up, and by that time most people are going to have you pinned anyway. I'm not going to go over all the other vehicles, but yeah, that's basically my take on the new vehicles. The Deluxo and the Stromberg, they are cool. They do have some cool features. They are deadly. I, for one, am more a realistic player. I hate the fact, I mean, I do agree that's kind of cool, but after like 15 minutes, it just gets annoying when people are flying around the map and flying cars and killing you. And I really hate the fact that Rockstar added this, or at least in free mode. And along with the Oppressor, I'm not a big fan of the Oppressor. It's for a bike to have rockets that are better than pretty much any aircraft out there is just really stupid, and yeah, definitely pisses me off a lot of times. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it for now. I hope I did not waste your time. Like and subscribe would be awesome, but just doing this because I like to get the information out to you guys. And if any of you feel like joining me for any kind of role play practice, um, trying to create some, maybe hopefully in the near future, some cool YouTube videos, that would be definitely welcome, and definitely hit me up. All right. Peace out, guys.